Hello everyone, welcome to Come Sit at My Table. Today is Sunday, so we're doing another subscriber recipe for our Subscriber Sunday series. Today's recipe comes from Colonial Heights, Virginia, and a lady named Ruth Hathcock. Ruth sent in a really nice letter and recipe. Let me read to you a little of what she says. Hi Tom and Melissa. I just watched your video with you making the holiday cranberry sauce. And, of course, I loved the recipe. Now, that cranberry sauce was from last Thanksgiving. If you want to find that recipe, you can just scroll back through our videos, or you can look in the description box below this video. Melissa will put a link in that box to that video. So, there's our oven. It's preheated to 350. Okay. I no longer cook as much as I used to because my husband and I, while getting older, just don't eat as much as we used to. However, watching your YouTube channel, I am inspired to try many of your great dishes, and we love them. Several years ago, I found a dish using cranberries, and it has become our favorite to make at Thanksgiving and Christmas. I am placing the recipe below and hope you might try it and like it as much as we do. Now, I know it's not Thanksgiving yet. We're close. We're getting there. But I wanted you to have this recipe ahead of time so you could use it throughout the Thanksgiving and Christmas season. And I'm going to tell you, this sounds really good. And it's very simple. So let's talk about what we're going to use to make Ruth's cranberry apple bake. We're going to start with 3 cups of whole cranberries. Now, Ruth's recipe says to use fresh cranberries, and if you can find them, that's what you should use. They are usually available this time of year, but I just happen to have some frozen cranberries from last season, and they are only available in the fall, by the way. You cannot get fresh cranberries year-round, but these are from last season, and they are frozen, and I'm sure they will work just fine. If you can buy fresh cranberries in the fall and you know that you want to use cranberries throughout the year, you can buy bags of cranberries and freeze them. Just stick the whole bag in your freezer and they'll be fine. Frozen cranberries work perfectly fine in almost every recipe that calls for fresh cranberries. So 3 cups of cranberries. We also need 3 cups of Granny Smith apples that are peeled and diced. So I bought 4 apples. I'm not sure we're going to need all of these. We need 3 cups worth. So if we need all 4, I'll peel all 4. If not, I'll stop when we get to 3 cups. But a lot of it's going to depend on how big your apples are too. We're also going to use 1 1/2 cups of sugar. We're going to use 1/4 pound of butter, which is 4 tablespoons, and that's half of a stick. So we're only going to use half that stick. 1/3 cup brown sugar, 1 1/3 cups of quick cooking oats or minute oats. A lot of people call them minute oats. And 1 cup of walnut or pecan pieces. Now, I'm a big pecan fan, so I'm using pecans today, but I have a feeling that Ruth probably uses walnuts because it says 1 cup walnuts and in the parentheses it says or pecans. So you can use either. I'm sure they'll be fine. Okay, let's get started. First, we're going to spray a 9x13 pan with nonstick spray. Ruth's directions say you can use a 9x13 pan or you can use a medium-sized casserole dish. So I'm just going to use a 9x13 pan, and we're just going to put our cranberries right in the bottom. And of course you want to spread those out so that they are in every bite. Now the next thing we have to do is peel and chop our apples. I have washed these. Even though you're going to peel them, you do need to wash your apples. So make sure you've done that. I'm going to move my cutting board up here where I can reach it. And by the way, if you put a wet towel under your cutting board, it will help it not to move on you. Kind of helps stabilize it. So that's always a good idea. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I forget.
Doesn't take long to remember though, does it?
No, because when you start chopping and the board's dancing all over the countertop, it helps you remember. I usually remember, but sometimes I'm in a hurry and I just forget to do it. So, all right, we just want to peel that apple, get the whole thing off. And you know, you don't have to have a peeler. If you've got a knife, that works fine too. And the easiest way for me is just to cut straight down on that apple on both sides, on either side of the core, and then do the same on the other side. Now, there is a chance that you might get some of that core in there. You can see I got a little bit of that core and some of the seed. So I'm just going to take my knife and kind of run it around and take that out because we don't want that hard place in there. I think that one's okay and that one's okay. So that will all go to the compost bin.
Minus the seeds.
Minus the seeds. We can't have the seeds in there. Now, I'm going to chop these fairly small. You know, you don't want them to be too small because you don't want them to cook up and disappear in your cranberry apple bake. But
I thought you were going to measure these.
Oh, well, I'll be daggone. You're right. I guess I'd better do that, hadn't I? All right, let me pick those out. Okay. I'm glad you said that. I was just going to do all 4 apples.
I thought you were getting excited there.
Yeah. I just thought I'll put these in there as I go. Okay. Good thing you said that. See, that's why I have her. She's a wonderful sous chef. She keeps me straight. Well, and on top of that, she does all the videoing and all the editing, and I just cook. I just do the fun part. Yeah, she helps me with the dishes. I load the dishwasher.
I unload it.
She unloads. We have a system. All right, let me get the rest of these peeled and get 3 cups. We have our apples chopped, and those go right on top of our cranberries.
So it took 3 apples to
It did, and I had just a hair more than 3 cups, but it really wasn't enough to matter. So I just went ahead and used 3 of them, and they were pretty good sized apples. They weren't tiny apples. So we'll certainly eat that 4th one. Now, we have our apples on there. We have to add our sugar, and the directions say to add it and then mix them together. So that's what we're going to do. We'll just put this right on top. Sorry, I've got this backward for you. And I don't think it matters that you have it on there real evenly because we're going to mix it anyway. So let's just get a fork. I think that'll be the easiest way. And we're just going to mix all that together. Man, does that not look delicious?
It's really pretty.
Oh my goodness.
Like the red and white.
This would be beautiful for Christmas. What a nice dish. What a beautiful, beautiful color. They look like frosted cranberries. I love that recipe too. Okay, we've not done that one on here, have we?
I don't think so.
That might be something we have to do this fall. Okay. Let's just kind of make sure this is an even layer. We want it to bake evenly. So let's just kind of push them down in there and make sure it's an even layer. Okay. And we'll get that sugar off there. I'm gonna grab my towel, babe. Okay, by the way, before anyone gets upset with me, I was joking when I said I kept Melissa around just to keep me straight. I keep her around because I love her. Okay, but she does keep me straight. Okay, now we have our 4 tablespoons of butter melted in our saucepan. And to that, we're going to add our packed brown sugar, our oats.
Did you pack it because you're afraid this is going to be sour?
Oh my gosh, it's got 3 cups of cranberries in it. Cranberries are tart. All right, so let's just grab a spoon here. And now it says just to mix that together. We don't have to cook it. It just says to mix it together and then spread it over.
So the heat's off.
The heat is off.
Okay.
I melted the butter and turned the heat off. But now you want to mix this really well because you want that butter distributed in those oats and brown sugar. You want it to be kind of moist. And it probably, I'm going to tell you, you need to make it the way it says the first time. I tell you that all the time. Make it the way the recipe says. But it probably wouldn't hurt to put a little extra butter in this.
Oh, Tom.
Well, you know, butter makes it better. I know. Okay, so I think that's mixed pretty well. I wouldn't say it's wet, and maybe it's not supposed to be, so maybe you shouldn't put the extra butter. Maybe it's not supposed to be too wet. All right, hope that's not too hot for me to handle. It'll be fine. All right, baby, here we go. So it says just to sprinkle it evenly over our apples and cranberries. So I'm just going to try to do that without throwing it all over the kitchen counter. Put my hand up there, that might help, huh? And we can always spread it out once we get it all on there. We don't have to be too particular with it right now. I mean, you don't want to just pour it in a big lump in the middle. But you don't have to be too particular because we can spread that out. All right, that's coming along pretty well. I'm just gonna pour the rest of this. I think it'll be fine. Scrape it all down there because we don't want to leave anybody in the pan. Ooh, that's hot. Okay. Now, I'm just going to take a fork and kind of spread that out. I know a lot of people use a spoon when they're spreading something like this, but I'm telling you, I find that a fork just works so much easier. It's just kind of, I don't know, the tines in the fork help move things around a little smoother. Tell me that doesn't look delicious.
It doesn't, it's beautiful.
Woo! This is gorgeous. Now, our oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and this bakes for 1 hour or until bubbly and golden brown. Sounds good to me. All right, so we will go into the oven for that. While I'm thinking about it, we really would appreciate if you'd go right below this video and click the thumbs up. That just says you like the video. And if you haven't before, click that subscribe button for us. That helps us grow our channel. There's also a little notification bell beside of the subscribe button. If you'll click it and the word all, that will allow YouTube to notify you every time we add a new video. And then, of course, if you click that share button, you can share this to your own social media and your family and friends will find our channel. So we would appreciate you doing that. All right, we're going into the oven for 1 hour. Well, we have not tasted this yet, but I can tell you it smells fantastic. Even while it was baking, Melissa said, "Oh man, I can smell that." And it smells really good. So it's been out of the oven for, I'm gonna say 30 minutes. So we've let it cool a little. And now we're ready to do my favorite part. Let's just take a little bit out of here. And you know, the recipe doesn't really say if we're supposed to eat this cool or hot or... Ooh, and there's some juice in the bottom. Ooh, let's pour that over it. That would be delicious. That's probably sugar syrup. That looks really good. Okay. Babe, you taking the first bite?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's not too bad. Ooh, I can see those chunks of apples in there too.
That was really good.
Oh my. Our son-in-law is going to love this. He loves cranberries. Wow. That is so good. It's tart from those cranberries, but it's sweet. That could be dangerous to have in the house.
That's really good.
I love the crunch from the nuts, but the cranberries are kind of creamy and soft and mushy, and the apples are too. That is really good. Ruth, we appreciate that recipe. You know, that's what I really like about this series. We're getting to try recipes that we probably never would have found. And we're getting to share them with those of you who are watching, and you may have never had this or been able to find it either. So it's really cool that our big family from Come Sit at My Table can share these recipes together. I love that. That is so good. And that juice that's in the bottom, you make sure that you scoop that off and drizzle it over your, you know what else? That would be good if it was cold, well, even warm, with a little scoop of vanilla ice cream or some Cool Whip. That is so good. All right, we will have this for Thanksgiving. I guarantee you this will be on our Thanksgiving table. Thank you so much for watching. I think I said earlier, but we would appreciate you hitting that like button and subscribe button if you've not hit subscribe before. Remember that right under this video, you'll find the description box. It has the title of this recipe, and you'll see the word more under that. Anywhere in that box you click will expand that box, and you'll find the written recipe there. Melissa has done that for every one of our videos, and I think by this point we're probably over 300 videos. But the recipe is right there for you. And under that recipe is our contact information. If you'd like to send us a recipe to consider for Subscriber Sunday, mail it to us. Don't post it in the comments because we may not find it. You need to mail it to us if you want us to consider using it. Also at the bottom, you'll find a place where you can leave a comment. And we love reading your comments. So feel free to go down there and just leave us a comment. We like to hear from you. Thanks again for watching. We do appreciate it. We want you to remember that you are always welcome to come sit at my table. Have a great day.